Welcome back to SleeplessRonin Plays. Today, we're going to do another ranking video, but it's different than usual. It's not a ranking video that I actually created the tier list for. This was created by Notaninn. Notaninn. Yeah, Notaninn. Interesting name. And I came across it on my Twitter feed or someplace else, and I thought, you know what? This is a really good one to do. I think I'll do it myself. So, let's cover our categories. We've got the top category, being super excited. It's a mech or vehicle or whatever. I'm super excited to see up in the upcoming Battletech Mercenaries Kickstarter. After that, we have excited. It's a category that I'm excited to see something in. Yay! Category. Then the category of I'm glad it exists. And you know what? I'm glad it exists. That's a pretty good category name. Then there's the I'm indifferent one. Yeah, okay, yeah. I guess I'm indifferent to being in the Kickstarter or not. And then there's the last category of I wish a more deserving unit got chosen. Okay. I think their categories are pretty self-explanatory, so let's just get rolling right into this list. And the first mech we have up is the Assassin. The Assassin is a mech that I'm glad exists, and is glad coming out of the Kickstarter. It is by far not the best combat-worthy mech on the tabletop, but I think that bad mechs have a place to be played, and they're great for scenario play and stuff like that, and so I'm glad the Assassin exists. And the new one looks really nice, so yeah, I'm quite thrilled we're going to be getting the Assassin. I'm glad it exists. Next up we have the Bane, or the Kraken. And this is a mech that if you see my other ranking videos, you know I have some issues with, mainly with the Ultra AC2 variant, because yeah, I'm not really thrilled by that one. But you give me the LRM-15 variant, and I think I'm excited, so I'm going to put this in the excited category. Also, it really does need an updated model. It'll look better this way. After that, we have the Behemoth. The Behemoth is a massive amount of weapons wrapped into a nice, super heavily armored package. That makes me very excited, super excited to see it coming in the Kickstarter. After that, we have the Caesar. And oh man, I love the Caesar as a mech, so I am super excited. And this one looks utterly gorgeous. So absolutely thrilled, super excited to see the Caesar coming to this Kickstarter. After that, we have the Chameleon, and I am excited for the Chameleon because, again, the Chameleon is kind of like a not so awesome combat mech. I mean, it's not bad actually at all, but it's a good training mech, so it makes for fun scenario play. And as I game master a lot of games, I do enjoy having mechs that are not always the best of combat. I don't know, like I always enjoy the mechs with the worst of combat ratings, but I do enjoy mechs that have a role to play beyond just being the ultimate combat machine or scout machine. A trainer is a good mech because you can have scenarios that, like, you know, oh, you're escorting several training cadets. You need to sure they get alive, get to the end of the scenario alive, or whatever. And so here's your chameleons. A lot of fun. The Charger is the first thing I'm going to say I'm indifferent to, mainly because it's the basic variant. I don't really like because I don't really care for 5 flashlights. But you get to the new Charger C that we have in the recognition guide, and all of a sudden I am a fan because that thing is pretty fast and pretty lethal. So yeah, I'll take that one. But I'm still gonna put it in the I'm indifferent category because it's a Charger. Never been a big fan of the mech. Next up is the Cicada, and I am glad it exists because here's our heavier brother to the Locust, because it really is just a heavier Locust. And of course, again, it's not the best mech in the world, not the worst mech in the world, but it has its place in the battlefield. And it's another of those fun ones to use because it's not the best. Next up, we have the Clint, and the Clint follows the Cicada right into the I'm glad it exists category. Because again, honestly, not a stellar mech, but it has its place. And I'm glad it exists because I like mechs that are not the best. Next up, we have the Condor, and the Condor I am super excited for, mainly because of the Capellan variant that carries all the medium lasers. I love that Condor variant, and so I'm super excited to see the Condor coming because, yeah, that's a heck of a hover tank. Next up is the Demolisher, and I'm excited to see the Demolisher. Why am I not super excited? Because it's a Demolisher, and I kind of expected it was going to be coming, so, you know, not going to say jump up and down for it because I was expecting the Demolisher to come. It's such a staple, big blob tank that trundles around the battlefield with big guns. wasn't gonna not expect it. I'm not saying I'm sad to see it at all. I'm pretty happy to see the Demolisher, but, you know, I'm just excited. Next up is the Dervish, and the Dervish is an I'm glad it exists mech. I'm glad it exists because it's an example of what happens when you put way too much ammo on a mech in 3025. The frickin' thing is a gigantic, enormous firecracker waiting to go off. It is... 100 rounds of ammo for 2 SRM2s is just plain dumb. It's an example of bad design in so many ways. And because of that, I'm glad it exists, because we need mechs that are not great. Just like we need mechs that are great, we need mechs that are not great. Next up is the Devastator, and I'm super excited for the Devastator because who is not thrilled about getting a double Gauss-wielding, double PPC-wielding monstrosity marching around the battlefield doing death from afar? Because I'm excited to see that one. I'm very excited. Super excited, in fact. Next up is the Firefly, and the Firefly I'm pretty indifferent on because it's a mech I do not think about a lot. It's a mech that is very much a niche mech, and yeah, that's just really I'm indifferent to it. It's not a mech I care too much about. The Firestarter, I'm excited to see the Firestarter because the Firestarter is such a fun little mech. It's a mess in some ways, but it's so much fun. Especially if you play it the way I play, and I play it the optional rule where flamers cause both damage and heat. It makes the Firestarter a lot more fun to put on the battlefield as both an anti-infantry terror and ooh, that mech is not heat efficient. I'm going to go harass that one. So the Firestarter is a fun battlefield role. I always like the way it looks. So yeah, I'm very excited for I'm excited for the Firestarter. Next up, the Flea, and the Flea is I'm glad it exists mech. I'm glad it exists because it's one of those things that I'm looking at going, huh, that's an odd 20-ton design. Huh, okay. Yeah, that's the Flea. It's our AT-ST with a little bit different look than a Star Wars mech or Star Wars Walker. So yeah, we enjoy it. Next up is the Galleon light tank, and I'm pretty excited for the Galleon because it's such a staple tank. It's like everywhere in the universe. It's light, it's fast, it's got acceptable weapons, and so yeah, who doesn't like the Galleon? It also one of those tanks. It looks way more threatening than it is, so I like the model. The new model looks pretty cool. So yeah, all excited for the Galleon. Next up, the Goliath, and I'm super excited for our quads that are coming because, oh man, quad mechs are awesome, and I am super thrilled to be getting that Goliath. I'm really looking forward to that sucker. I like the way it looks. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to hope there's a way to remove the clear peg that's holding them up. I'm not a huge fan of that. Maybe requiring the script. I'm hoping the Goliath we can find a way to get rid of that. So we'll see. Next up, the Griffin 2C, and I'm pretty darn excited for the Griffin 2C because, yeah, the prior Griffins have never looked thrilling. The anime style one from the original technical readout is okay, but not correctly weaponized. And then the one from Project Phoenix is one I'd rather not talk about, so it's nice to see the Griffin getting a solid redesign. So I'm pretty excited. The Grizzly is a mech I'm glad it exists, but it just feels like one of the weirder mechs on this whole list. Yeah, it's weird that it's on the list. I mean, it's such a denigrated clan mech. So, yeah, you know what? I'm glad it exists. I just feel really weird about the Grizzly. Hermes 2. I am pretty darn excited for the Hermes 2. I've always liked the Hermes mech styles. I'm just really kind of glad they're bringing this up into the modern era where it looks better. They've always looked kind of like the minis have always looked kind of wibbly to me. But now I think it looks pretty solid. So I'm really happy to see this one's coming. Highlander 2C. I'm going to be a bit weird about this one because I'm going to just say I'm glad it exists. I mean, I really like the Highlander. And the Highlander 2C is just a clan version of it, so yay. It's unlike the Griffin 2C, the Phoenix Hawk 2C, the Shadowhawk 2C. The Highlander 2C is not a huge change-up in the clan variant, so I'm not as excited about it. Yeah, I'm happy, but it's not like the other ones. I'm like, ooh. The other ones are much more exciting than this one is. The Hoplite is an I'm indifferent mech. I really am indifferent to the Hoplite. I mean, I'm glad it's getting updated artwork-wise because it's always looked pretty It's a pancake on legs. So, yeah. Not thrilled by it. I'm glad it exists. I'm not glad it exists. I'm pretty indifferent to this one. It's there. I don't think about it a lot, honestly, so it's a mech. Inner Sphere Standard Battle Armor. Hello, me being super excited because I love battle armor. In fact, I love battle armor so much, and I love vehicles so much in Battletech, that what I wish that Catalyst would do, and this is something, hey, Catalyst, if you are listening, please think about putting together a book like the Battle Mech Manual, but that concentrates on vehicles, battle armor, and infantry. And if you want to throw proto-mechs in, I honestly don't care one way or the other. There's not enough protos to really worry about those. But there's so many vehicles and battle armor and ways of doing infantry that it'd be really nice to have a nice book like the Battle Mech Manual. You may call it like the ground vehicle or the ground manual or whatever. The ground pounders manual or something like that. I don't really know. Because we could use a book that really gets good and concentrates all the rules for vehicles, infantry, and battle armor into like one concise book like you did the Battle Mechs. Although there was some stuff missing from the Battle Mech Manual. Also, like, why didn't radial heat sinks make it in there? Or the T-Simp? Why do I have to go to Interstellar Operations, other eras for those? This should be in the Battle Mech Manual also. Hint, for updated versions of the Battle Mech Manual, please put all the Battle Mech equipment in the Battle Mech Manual. The Jaeger Mech. I'm glad it exists. It falls in the same category as bad mech designs because the Jaeger is an example of too many autocannons and not enough armor. So, yeah. I'm glad they're redoing it because it's never been a very pretty mech. It looks a lot better now. And we need bad mechs at times. And so I am glad it exists. But that's about as much as I can say about the Jaeger. The Javelin. I'm pretty excited for the Javelin. I'd almost like to see two variants of the Javelin come out. One that has the missiles and one that's like the fire Javelin with all the lasers. So, I've always liked the Javelin. It's a nice mech. So, I'm excited for the Javelin. The Jenner 2C. Same thing. I'm pretty excited for the Jenner 2C because it's a Jenner with clan tech. Can't go wrong there, can you? Well, you actually could, but I like the Jenner 2C anyways. So, yeah. Whereas the Locust 2C, I am super excited for the Locust 2C. I can tell you, whatever pack the Locust 2C is coming in, I'm buying 4 of it, probably minimum, because I love this little lethal monster. That's a Locust that scares the pants off of assault mechs, if assault mechs wear pants. And I've seen t-shirts where they do wear pants, so, you know, there's that going on. Anyways, the Locust 2C is so good. I love this mech, and I'm so going to be buying 4 of that pack. I know that. I can already tell you that one. The LRM carrier. I'm glad it exists. You want to know why I'm just glad it exists? They are such staple vehicles. So I'm not thrilled by. I'm not excited. I'm not super excited. I'm more than indifferent. I'm glad they're coming, but I'm not like jumping up and down for these. Unlike the Manticore, which I'm super excited because for me, the Manticore is essentially like one of my main battle line tanks. It's such a solid, good tank all around. Even going back to 325, it's just such a solid staple tank that serves both good armor, good weapons, good speed. The Manticore is hard to beat for what it can do on the battlefield. It is a really fantastic vehicle, and I'm glad again, whatever that thing's going to be, a minimum of 2 boxes of Manticore, maybe 3 boxes of Manticores for me, because I love that vehicle, and I want to be able to use a lot of it. The MASH truck. I'm going to put it in the I'm glad it exists category. Not because I use these for battlefield stuff, but because they make great scenario objectives, which is why I do believe this one's going to be coming in, is essentially in the HQ objectives pack. Well, I'm pretty happy with that because, honestly, I do like having objectives on my battlefield. The MASH trucks make a great thing to have for scenario play. Like, oh no, you have to go and protect the hospital vehicles before the Word of Blake goes and murders all these wounded mech warriors. Makes a good scenario. The Maxim. I'm super excited for the Maxim. There aren't a lot of vehicles out there that can transport infantry as well as the Maxim can, and have as much guns as the Maxim does, and the speed. The Maxim is just an all-around very good vehicle, so I'm quite thrilled to be seeing the Maxim. I love the Maxim. It is, yeah, it's fantastic. So, very happy to see that one. Next up is the Merlin, and really weird. I'm super excited for the Merlin, because it's one of those mechs that, honestly, I did not put a lot of thought into ever before. I really never looked at the Merlin and went, yeah, I like this mech or I don't like this mech. The Merlin just always was kind of like it's a mech. But then the new design came out in the recognition guides. It looks fantastic. Plus, all the new variants of it are really pretty cool. So the Merlin went from a mech I didn't really put a lot of thought into to one that I really like right now. So I am very happy to see I'm very excited to see the Merlin coming in because, yeah, the Merlin is going to be fun, I think, and I really like the way it looks now. We can throw the mobile HQ in the same place as the guy I'm glad exists. It's going to serve the purpose as being a objective marker. And that's where I'm going to put the long tom as well, because for me, the long tom, instead of using it to actually fight on the battlefield, I'd be more using like, oh, here's a bank of long toms that are assaulting your allies. You need to go take them out. That's your scenario for today. So go and blow up these long tom, and they're defended by various things. So, yeah. Then there's the Ontos, and I will say the Ontos I am pretty excited for. It's a lot of lasers and a pretty heftily armored package, which is pretty cool. So, hard to say no to the Ontos. It's a pretty sweet tank. Not the most beautiful, but the new variant actually looks really good for the design. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Ostrock. Ostrock's go into the I'm super excited category. I love all the Osts except for the Ost Scout. Ostsol, Ostrock, Ostwar, all fantastically fun. I like them all. They're great fun, and I think they look really nice in the new sculpts or the new sculpts and the new art design. So I really like where they're going with those. Ost Scout, hey, you are going to be the first thing in the I wish a more deserving unit got chosen. Aside from the variant with the tag, I just couldn't give less consideration to the Ost Scout. It is barely a scout in my opinion. And so, yeah, I'm never liked it as a mech. Ost Soul, you will join your brother, the Ost Rock, up here in super excited land. Then we have the Pegasus, and the Pegasus is, I'm pretty darn excited for the Pegasus. Again, I love my hover tanks, so another hover tank on the list is mucho bueno. I also like taking the hover tanks and taking them off any of the hex bases and putting them on the old GW like the drone bases you get in the Tau. So like this like little hover like air like skirt thing below them. It's like they're like just barely off the map and they're just floating above. I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to the Pegasi. Phoenix Hawk 2C. Hello, super excited. I am super excited not just because of this massive assault mech big brother to the old Phoenix Hawk that weighed 45 tons. This thing weighs so much more. It's hilarious. But I'm super excited because finally, for once in the history of Battletech, we're going to be getting a freaking Phoenix Hawk 2C that has the proper weapons in the illustration and on the mech itself. I can't tell you how long I've waited to see a Phoenix Hawk 2C properly equipped. And not the stupid ATM-9 variant from Project Phoenix. Because again, like I said, I'd prefer not to think about most of the Project Phoenix designs. So, Phoenix Hawk 2C looks fantastic. And it's going to be the Ultra AC Tenzon, so it's going to be looking pretty cool. Very happy with that one. Also, very super excited about the Pillager. The Pillager is such an awesome mech from every era it's in. From the AC-20 carrying one through to the Gauss Rifle one. I love the Pillager. It's such a fun mech. Such a solid Capellan design. Yeah. And those big old claws. I actually wish they had the rules for claws. It like even down the base variant so you just like with them. Yeah. So yeah. I love the Pillager. So super excited for the Pillager. And the quick draw goes into the I'm indifferent category because while it's a bad mech, unlike the Assassin, the Cicada, and the Clint, and all the other ones up in the I'm glad it exists category, the Assassin is a bad mech without personality. It is one of the most boring bad mechs out there as far as I'm concerned. So, yay for the quick draw. You're boring, and I don't care about you very much. Then we have the Rifleman 2C. And boy, oh boy, have I got to say, am I super excited for one of the most broken mechs in the game. Hi, I have 4 large clan pulse lasers. You die. They're stupidly accurate. 20 hex, 10 damage, clan large pulse insanity. It's just fantastic. So, thrilled to be seeing the Rifleman 2C coming. Then we got the Shrek PPC carrier. And I'm pretty excited for it. Not super excited because it's one of those vehicles I did expect the Shrek to be coming down the pipeline. You can't do vehicles and not do the Shrek, more or less. 80 tons, low armor, low speed, but 3 PPCs. Therefore dedicating 30, 30 single heat sinks to covering it. So yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Next up, we have got the Scorpion. And you know where that's going? Up with my friend the Goliath in the super excited category because it's a quad. And I love the quads. So I'm super excited for the quads of the Scorpion. Shadowhawk 2C. Right there with its brother, the Griffin 2C. And I'm pretty excited that we're getting those. I'm glad they're getting redesigned. They look so much better as actually a transitional clan tech version from their original Inner Sphere version. So I'm excited for them. And yeah, yay, fun. Next we have the Shogun, and I'm pretty darn indifferent to the Shogun because the Shogun is one of those mechs that I think of, and I think of just one faction. I just think of Wolf's Dragoons for the Shogun. And I'm like, yay, the Shogun. I need one of it, maybe? I'm not really thrilled by the Shogun. I mean, I'm pretty darn indifferent. I almost wish a different, more deserving unit got chosen, actually. But because the Shogun could use a better model, I'm going to leave it in the I'm indifferent category. The Skulker Scout Car. That's going to go in the I'm glad it exists category because, again, I consider the Skulkers more of a objective. Stop the Skulkers from doing what they're doing and versus actually using them for combat-wise. So, you know, kill the Skulkers before they steal all the data or something like that. The Spectre. I'm excited for the Spectre because it's a light mech I do like, so. Yay! SRM Carrier is going to go in the same place as the LRM Carrier because, again, I'm glad it exists. Starslayer. I'm super excited for the Starslayer. I've always liked this mech. It's such a solid mech. I love the asymmetry that they actually talked about in the most recent Mercenaries preview. And yeah, for me, the Starslayer is just such a fun mech because it's asymmetrical, because it's differently looking, because it's a nice design, and it's a good design overall. So I'm actually pretty super excited for the Starslayer. The Vedette is a I'm glad it exists vehicle because, in general, Vedettes perform pretty poorly on the battlefield. But, hey, we need bad tanks as much as we need bad mechs in the game, so the Vedette has a place. The Vulcan. I am pretty super excited for the Vulcan because I've always liked this mech. Not the AC2 variant, obviously. The AC2 variant is bleh. But this the other variants, the one with the medium lasers, I really do like. I also like the way it looks. The thin skeletal appearance of the Vulcan with the bulging head has always been pretty cool in my opinion. So I'm actually pretty super excited to see the Vulcan coming. Then there's the Warrior. And I'm super excited for the Warrior because right now, it's our one VTOL. Yay, a VTOL! Is it the best VTOL out there? It's not a yellow jacket, so no. But I do enjoy it a lot. Actually, the Donor might be one of the best VTOLs in the world, or the ones that are used for other. Yeah. Anyways, I'm really happy to see VTOL coming. I'm glad that you can remove it from the peg, and so I'm pretty thrilled by the Warrior helicopter coming. I'm pretty super excited by it. Then there's the Black Python, the White Raven, or the Viper, whatever name you want to give it. This clan mech I'm pretty super excited for because it needed a redo. The older models were just so bad because the super spindly legs that just looked terrible on it. Yeah. But the new sculpt actually makes it look like a really cool mech. It still retains like the aerospace design of the upper half, but now it looks like a proper lower mech, or lower half of a mech on the thing. So I'm actually pretty freaking excited for the White Raven. Or the Black Python. Or the Viper. Whatever name you want to call it by. Next up is the Whitworth. And the Whitworth is an I'm glad it exists mech. Again, it's always not very good mechs. It's not a terrible mech, but we need these kind of mechs in Battletech, so I'm pretty glad they're getting it. There we go. We have my excitement level for all the stuff coming up in the Mercenaries Kickstarter. From the many things I'm super excited for, the good number of things I'm excited for, the I'm glad it exists, the 5 indifference, and the 1 I wish a more deserving unit got chosen, because seriously, yeah. I mean, where's my Berserker? My Berserker. Come on, I need my Berserker. It was promised in the last Kickstarter. Where's my Berserker? Well, anyways, I've been SleeplessRonin. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please do the typical YouTube things. Like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll catch you in the future. Sayonara, and see you next time.